Welcome to the Top Business Leaders Show, powered by Rise 25 Media. We feature top founders, executives, and business leaders from all over the world.
Chad Franson here, co-host for this show where we feature top restaurateurs, investors, and business leaders. This is part of our SpotOn series. SpotOn has a best-in-class payment platform for retail, and they have a flagship solution called SpotOn Restaurant, where they combine marketing, software, and payments all in one. They've served everyone from larger chains like Dairy Queen and Subway to small mom and pop restaurants. To learn more, go to SpotOn.com. This episode is brought to you by Rise 25. We help B2B businesses to get ROI, clients, referrals, and strategic partnerships through Done-For-You podcasts. If you have a B2B business and want to build great relationships with clients, referral partners, and thought leaders in your space, there's no better way to do it than through podcasts and content marketing. To learn more, go to rise25media.com or email us at support@rise25media.com. Andrew Martino is the founder of Ghost Truck Kitchens. He has been operating restaurants at both managerial and executive levels for almost 20 years. He's been an expert in the ghost kitchen space since 2018 and has been featured on podcasts, panels, and publications. Andrew, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, so tell me about Ghost Truck Kitchen. It sounds like a very unique and great concept.
Yeah. So this was, one of those things that starts off as a crazy idea, right? What are you doing? It was pre-pandemic, of course. And the initial thought behind it was to emulate that experience of being at a food truck festival. The negatives in my mind were you would have to wait in separate lines for every single vendor. If you were lucky enough to go with a group of friends, you could have one person in each line. But what we wanted to do was basically create a digital ordering experience that mirrored being at a food truck festival and being able to get multiple different types of cuisines all in one transaction. Our opening hashtag was GTK Saves Relationships. So anybody that's ever fought with a loved one or family member about where they're going to order from, we aim to solve that problem.
So your website says, I think it says something like, we're not a ghost kitchen and we're not a food truck. Can you explain that?
Sure. So, of course, when we created the name, ghost kitchens weren't a thing yet. People hadn't hit the mainstream. So what we did was, again, on the food truck side, was we created these concepts, which we referred to as ghost trucks. The line I like to use is we have brick and mortar bones and ghost kitchen blood. So, we think we're a perfect hybrid of, yesterday's brick and mortar space with the future of e-commerce essentially for restaurants. So we married those two concepts together. We're not a food truck. We're not a ghost kitchen. We're a hybrid approach in everything we do. And we think we have the best of both worlds.
So from a customer standpoint, how does it work? They place an order online and then the food is delivered to them?
Yeah, so we have a pretty robust pickup business as well. So we definitely like to be a convenient takeout option for all our locals and neighborhood folks. But again, people can go online or they can order in-house from our kiosk. They can order across any of our 12 current ghost truck concepts, all on one ticket. Everything is prepared and ready at the exact same time, one bag, one order, and everyone's happy.
So you have brick and mortar locations?
Correct. Yes, we have physical brick and mortar locations. We basically, again, took, what would be a traditional fast casual size space of about 1,000 to 1,500 square feet. And then instead of having 20% kitchen and 80% unused dining room, we simply flip that. And now we have about 80% kitchen and then 20% of our space is dedicated for both delivery drivers and pickup customers.
So what did the early days kind of look like? When you first got started, what did that look like in terms of your location or your delivery system or whatever?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's been tons of iterations, of course. We were a bootstrapped brand. I bootstrapped this myself. Again, there wasn't a lot of people that wanted to invest in a virtual food truck lot back in 2018. So we've definitely grown in leaps and bounds in both what we offer and how we offer it. Again, we're all about convenience and efficiency. So order ahead. Customers get a text message when their order is being packaged to eliminate that awkward showing up at a restaurant and standing and waiting for your order to finish. So from there, when we started and getting our times lined up and how fast it was going to be and when the order was going to arrive to your house, and all those things have since been solved. And now we're pretty much about 35 minutes from order to delivery at your door, and we make everything from scratch to order.
Did you, pre-pandemic, this was probably kind of like an out there concept. Now you're like a visionary. How did COVID kind of affect your operations?
Yeah, I think the assumption was that we just killed it during COVID and like everything was wonderful and great. Definitely wasn't the reality. We spent our first year really trying to build our office catering lunch business, and that went to zero. Our walk-in clientele went to zero. So we were fortunate in that we didn't have to change how we operated, right? We already knew how to package food. We already knew what technology we needed to make things work. So we had some benefits in that way, but we also had a niche, or at least we thought we had a niche that no one else in the world cared about. And all of a sudden, 100% of every operator in the world pivoted to takeout food. So we went from being a very unique place in the space to finding ourselves in a very competitive and crowded field. But again, I think that really forced us to continue to think forward and actually proved out our business model because, we still saw incredible growth year over year.
At what point did you kind of realize that this kind of new thing had some traction? Like this is a good idea moving forward.
Yeah, I think it was just about this time last year, maybe a little bit later in summer. We had a very strong start to the COVID era. Once the vaccine was readily available last year, travel picked up, outdoor dining, indoor dining. I thought our sales were going to plateau, maybe even dip a little bit because everyone was able to go out and travel. We ended up being almost 100% year over year growth through our late spring and early summer months. And it was at that point that I was like, okay, we really have something here. We need to try to grow this, to duplicate it. And fortunate enough recently to have found a great investment partner who is going to help us, start to scale the brand in the appropriate way.
I mentioned in your intro that you've been in the restaurant business for a while. How did you break in?
So I was a broke college student, not unlike many college students. I was refereeing for intramural sports at $4.15 an hour, I believe was the rate. I happened to run into someone who knew my older sister. We went to high school together. He was working at a bar nearby. He's like, "Hey, I'm not a big guy. He's like, "Hey, do you want to be a bouncer? It pays $6.75 an hour." So I was like, "Sure, this is great." I just absolutely fell in love with the hospitality industry right then and there. Within a year, I was managing that bar, at 19 years old, switched my major to entrepreneurship and hospitality management, and have just been engrossed in all things hospitality ever since that time.
Wow. So what, can you give me an example of some other jobs you've had since that time?
Oh yeah, sure. So I was the general manager of a live music venue and nightclub in New Jersey for about 6 years. Until Hurricane Sandy came. Unfortunately, that was a pretty challenging time. It spurred me to move to Southern California. I was in San Diego, worked my way up there from a bar manager to a GM, eventually became a director of operations for a restaurant group. Around the same time, I met a great mentor who helped me launch my own hospitality consultant business. And it was really that business that started to get me focused on food tech and kind of what was next. This was a time when fast casual was the thing, right? Everybody was trying to become the next Chipotle, right? Oh, we're the Indian Chipotle. We're the Italian Chipotle. And I just looked at that kind of as a flawed business model. I saw a lot of unused real estate and a lot of bags being prepared for takeout and not a lot of strong logistics behind it. So Ghost Truck really started as a curiosity of like, what do we think the future looks like? What does the future of takeout look like? And to me, it meant being able to order whatever kind of food you wanted, having that food be quality, have it be packaged well, and have it show up in a timely fashion, and people really care about it and focus on it. For so long, it had been an afterthought. I wanted to make it our main thought, and we've done that, and we still do that to this day. We really, really care about how that food gets to you at your door.
Is it hard to have such a diverse menu in terms of having all that food available and ready?
It took a lot of planning. I don't think it's particularly challenging now. I think a lot of it has to do, again, in your pre-planning and organization of cross-product utilization, right? How do you use the same protein across multiple menus? How do we tweak the same sauce to use it in multiple places? So the easiest way for me to explain it is if you think about a typical Mexican restaurant, they might have 60 or 70 items, but it's really a very small list of SKUs that those items are coming from. So I kind of took that approach to our diverse menu, in which you're hit with all these various and wonderful options. But for our team, as long as our preparation is tight and we're able to cross-utilize ingredients, it becomes a little simpler on the execution side.
So in terms of your operations, what's kind of the key to your daily process in terms of making things? You have kind of a diverse operation. What's kind of the key to making sure things flow smoothly and you stay kind of on brand?
Preparation, right? It's all in the prep. So we're very tight on how we portion to ensure consistency, making sure the prep is done correctly every single day so that the taste is the same and the sauces are the same. If your prep isn't correct, you're going to find yourself in the weeds pretty quickly, and that's when things start to spiral out of control. So our food preparation is definitely paramount. And then just learning how to manage the technology. So timing's right? We don't want to make food too quickly before there's a delivery driver. And we also don't want a delivery driver sitting and waiting for 15 minutes. So the timing and logistics aspect is one of the real challenges of this business. And that's very different from full service, which has its own challenges. So two completely different beasts. And I applaud people who have full service establishments and also do a heavy takeout business, because they really are very different skill sets and challenging to do both well at the same time.
What are you most proud of in terms of your Ghost Truck Kitchen journey so far?
I would say our feedback and our ratings, quote unquote. I think if you look across the scope at a lot of the delivery first virtual brands, a lot of other people that are somewhat in the same space, you see very inconsistent ratings, results, really poor delivery experiences. It's hard to get a 2-point something on Grubhub and Uber Eats, but a lot of these VR companies manage to do it. So I think that's what I'm most proud about, is that we were able to, over 3 years and multiple menus and multiple cuisines, maintain a 4 to 5 star rating across every single platform. And again, I think that speaks to how we've positioned our brand and how we see ourselves as a premium takeout option. So, definitely the brand integrity is the thing that I'm most proud of.
Mm-hmm. Was there any as you were getting going, was there any kind of big mistake or something that ended up serving as a learning experience that you guys could build on, or not one that sticks out?
Sure. I don't think any one major mistake. I had the benefit, of course, being an operator in the past and already making my mistakes on other people's dime. Right. That was pretty fortunate. A lot of the learning curve was about the menu, right? How do we describe it? How do we place it? There's years and years of experience and data on a physical menu, right? Where do people's eyes go? How do you make a box? How do you make a profitable engineered menu? But no one's really cracked the code on what a digital menu engineering looks like. So we've done a lot of A/B testing and moving items around and seeing what those key areas are. That's been the most fun for me. I love the iterations and the learning process. Learning how to turn waste into profit, right? What are we throwing out at the end of the day? Okay, how do we use that ingredient more to create something that, again, is going to keep us profitable? So again, all mistakes are really just opportunities to learn, especially if you're in essentially a new category. So we take all that as an adventure.
Where do you feel like this kind of category is going? Are there further innovations that you think could grow from this type of concept?
Yeah, I would really like to see more independent operators jump into the space. It was a little depressing, which fortunately is the correct word, for me to see the ghost kitchen industry kind of get taken over by a lot of multinational conglomerates and have money thrown at it. This is really an opportunity for chefs and operators to be creative and do new, cool, and innovative stuff. And I feel like that hasn't happened as much yet. I'm still hopeful. There's a couple unique businesses out there that are trying to push the envelope, but I'd really like to see more independent restaurateurs in the space and not so much, 500 new digital Wendy's locations. I think there's enough processed food to last everybody a lifetime, and it'd be great to see some more real, chef owner operators get involved in the digital e-commerce restaurant space.
I have one more question for you, but first, how can people find out more about Ghost Truck Kitchen?
Sure. So they can check us out either on Instagram at HelloGTK, LinkedIn, search me, Andrew Martino, Ghost Truck Kitchen, also on LinkedIn. Love to connect and catch up with people that are like-minded in the space. So definitely social is always the way to go. We have a 3-year anniversary coming up, and I'm going to start doing a little bit more building in public and letting people behind the scenes to see our process as we grow.
Okay, very cool. Final question. If you're hanging out at home one night and you want something to eat and you order from Ghost Truck Kitchen, do you have like a go-to meal?
Well, I'll tell you my wife's go-to, because she does get the same thing. She gets the coconut curry with tofu 9 times out of 10. For me, I'd say our teriyaki fried rice bowl is my favorite, and I'm always tacking on our wings. We do a smoked and grilled antibiotic-free wing. Best wings in the greater Jersey City area, if not the whole state. So there's always wings happening pretty much on a weekly basis.
You guys have like an entire section of your menu dedicated to maybe like a vegan or a vegetarian.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
How's that going?
It's great. That picks up honestly week over week as the vegan community is pretty tight. So as word spreads, we find ourselves getting more and more plant-based orders. We also have a CPG partnership with a brand called Strong Roots. They provide us some great plant-based products, cauliflower hash browns, purple beet and black bean patties. We utilize tofu in a lot of different interesting ways. So big on providing, again, something for everybody and not just afterthoughts.
Sure. Very nice. Hey, Andrew, it's been great to talk to you. I really appreciate your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
So long, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Top Business Leaders Show, powered by Rise 25. Visit rise25.com to check out more episodes of the show and to learn more about how you can start your own podcast.